All right, welcome back in, or back to, or into for the first time because we finally got a name, the Double Coverage Podcast. A lot of you guys put in some names, some good, some bad.
Insane.
There was a couple that were good that were in consideration, like In the Trenches was one I liked, Between the Hash Marks, and one of you guys suggested that each week we come up here and say welcome back to Chocolate and Cream, which would have just been insane work. There's no way I'm spitting that every
Yeah, that's
single week.
crazy. It'll go viral though
Yeah.
immediately.
So double coverage is the name of the podcast. If you go back to that video and you look in the comments section and you say nobody suggested that, it was JaVon's idea. So whatever your opinion is on it, that's the man who came up with it. But welcome back in. As always, 6 lessons that we learned from the previous week of the NFL every single Wednesday here on the channel. Week 5 is in the books, man. It's not one of my lessons, but I don't know if we have a true excellent football team right now. I feel like every team is a little bit flawed. There's a lot of parity right now. I had to do my tier list today. It threw me through a whirlwind. So I'm excited to talk some ball with you. Usually I've been going first. I'm going to let you go first today. What is your first lesson that you learned from NFL Week 5?
Yeah. So first, I want to talk about the Chargers. I think that they're one of the most unluckiest teams, at least this year.
You just learned that.
I mean, no, and it's crazy, bro, because as everyone knows, I wasn't that high on the Chargers. But when you watch them play, bro, the first couple of games, you're like, damn, they might make some noise, man, if they're fully healthy. But before the season even really gets going, they lose their best offensive lineman. And now both of their tackles are gone. And now that you got Amari and Hampton on IR and Najee Harris, the week or two before, is really insane.
And
bro.
Mekhi Becton's hurt. And
Yeah.
they got offensive linemen dropping like flies, running backs dropping like flies. They do have a pretty friendly schedule coming up, if I do remember correctly. I know they play Miami this week, so that's kind of a cupcake game at this point in time. But you talk about everything being on the back of Justin Herbert for the next month. That's kind of where it is. It's that Jesse Minter defense, and hey, Justin Herbert, can you throw the ball 45 times a game and get us a win? Because I've had a little bit of back and forth with Chargers fans. There's actually a lot of Chargers fans in terms of percentage of NFL fans versus percentage of NFL fans subscribe to this YouTube channel. I feel like it's like there's way more Chargers fans just watching these videos for some reason. Yeah. But I thought that the rushing attack with Omarion Hampton started to look good. And it's not that the offensive line played great, but you have this bruising back that's really solid at breaking tackles and getting those additional yards, and mixed with an okay enough offensive line, especially when Alt got back. I had faith in their run game being good. Was that the way you were feeling too, or did you think that the run game was kind of always going to be a weakness of this team, even if Hampton was healthy?
Well, honestly, it wasn't really a weakness. I mean, I kind of, me, I was saying before the season started, you shouldn't really depend on a rookie, being the reason why your team goes from has a drastic win change from the previous year. But I mean, Amari Hampton really started to come along the last couple of weeks. And I know the season is really early, but his projection, man, he could have won Offensive Rookie of the Year if he, kept going. Well, if he kept playing the way he was playing, man. And now they're down to what? Haskins and another guy who I think is a rookie, if I'm not mistaken. Herbert is going to have
Kamani Vidal's I believe he's a 4th, 5th year player. I just looked it up.
Really? Okay.
Or not, maybe 3rd. The Chargers are 14th in the NFL in rushing yards per game at 116 right now. So pretty much just directly middle of the pack at this point in time. Obviously, some of that factors in what Justin Herbert's been doing with his legs. The one thing I want to make note of, though, they've kind of had a de facto running game with Omarion Hampton where it's basically been a lot of short yardage passing situations.
Yeah.
Hampton, over the past couple of weeks, got a lot of dump offs, similar to, kind of a college offense where, let's just get our talented player the ball in space very quickly. There were a lot of, I wouldn't even say they were necessarily screens, just flat routes that Hampton was the first read. As long as he's open, get him the ball. And he got about 3-4 receptions a game. That isn't registered as a run play, but to me, it's kind of a direct correlation of the run game. And they'd rather just get the blocking from the outside than the interior of the offensive line. either way, Hampton became a very productive piece of the Chargers offense. They're without him for 4 weeks now. Ian Rappaport did report today that he expects it to be just those 4 weeks, so he should be back come week 10 for them. They do really need him in an AFC that is all but up for grabs right now. When you look around the AFC conference right now, the Bills, I think, stand out because they've been good for so long, and Josh Allen's been an MVP. But a lot of the teams above the Chargers have some real question marks and real just kind of, obviously, if we look at this season in a vacuum, they're trustworthy. But with context of what we know, do we fully buy into the Colts? Do we fully buy into the Jacksonville Jaguars? I'm just not sure at this point in time. And like you mentioned, the offensive line injuries really sting because now you're just asking Justin Herbert to carry. And it felt like 2 weeks ago when the Chargers were 3-0, we were at a point where it was like them in Buffalo, AFC Championship, pencil it in. This is Justin Herbert's year. And now just 2 weeks later with the injuries and these losses, it's kind of like, are the Chargers a fringe playoff team?
I mean, I would love to know the percentage of dropbacks that he's getting pressured on. Like, it feels like every other play damn near he's getting pressured or hit, or I don't know how long this is sustainable, man. And thank God he has legs under him, because if he wasn't the athlete that he was, I don't know how long he would last in this offense, But yeah, Justin Herbert's definitely going to have to carry, and we didn't see him have to really do that last year, even though they didn't have the talent in the running back room that they have at the start of this season. Last year, they weren't really depending on him to carry. And now this is when you're going to see a guy like Ladd McConkey finally come along, who's been quiet this season. Quentin Johnston has been playing a lot better since, compared to his previous years. And Keenan Allen is basically their tight end out there. Like Keenan Allen, everything intermediate across the middle of the field seems to be Keenan Allen all day long. He's basically their tight end one. So we're going to see how Justin Herbert can carry this team moving forward.
To put it in perspective, Joe Alt got hurt 2 weeks ago in the Giants game, and since then, Justin Herbert has been sacked 7 times and been hit 21. So, they're getting home, man. They are certainly doing some damage. So, kind of more, in my opinion, of a relearned lesson there about the Chargers being one of the unluckiest teams in football, because, man, if that isn't something that at least I already knew, and Chargers fans, I'm sure, are going to sound off in the comments section and tell you that they already knew as well.
It's crazy.
My first lesson that I learned is Ohio State might be the new wide receiver university, because them wide receivers that coming out of Ohio State, man, it is a Drake album. All hits, no misses, baby. Jackson Smith and Jigba, number 2 right now in the NFL in receiving yards. Emeka Egbuka, number 4 right now in the NFL in receiving yards. Garrett Wilson, number 7 right now in the NFL in receiving yards. And I'll even shout out Marv, too. 19th. That ain't bad, man.
Did you see that catch he had when he mossed them 2 players? That was crazy.
And the craziest part is the best one might still be there.
Yeah.
In terms of Jeremiah Smith, man, because these Ohio State wide receivers, and Marv's a little bit different because he's a big body guy. A lot of this is focused on JSN and Emeka Egbuka, because that Seahawks-Buccaneers game was quietly buried in the 4:00 window of this week, but it was honestly one of the best games of the season. If you haven't checked it out and you have NFL Plus, check it out there. If you don't have NFL Plus, just go watch the 20-minute video that the NFL posts on the highlights, because Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were going back and forth like prime Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like, these guys were absolutely slinging the rock, and their wide receiver ones, Emeka Egbuka and Jackson Smith and Jigba, did not disappoint. Both of those guys had over 120 yards and a touchdown in that game. They were just cooking. And these Ohio State wide receivers, what they do process-wise, they just come out and are absolutely pure. The route running is there. The hands is there. They're effective. They're efficient. None of them are divas, by the way. Not a single one. Like, they are all head down, work ethics. Like, a guy like Marv, who has plenty to complain about with Kyler Murray as his quarterback, we haven't heard shit out of him one time. Garrett Wilson's been on the Jets for how long? Hasn't complained one time. Like, JSN and Emeka Egbuka obviously don't have anything to complain about, but you're seeing a variety of different situations there, right? Like, Garrett Wilson's on the Jets dealing with Justin Fields, they're 0-5, but Garrett Wilson's still doing his thing. You see Marvin Harrison, where it's like flip a coin on which Kyler Murray you get that day. Smith and Jigba's in the situation with Sam Darnold, where like we didn't really know if Sam Darnold was actually going to be good, and Ekbuka gets blessed with Baker Mayfield too. I'll talk more about him in a little bit, but these Ohio State wide receivers, man, they just come out and they are just refined NFL players immediately. And there are certain universities and certain types of players where it's just like, hey, man, scouting can be difficult. And sometimes it just is what it is. And Ohio State wide receivers, it's just becoming, you know what? If they went there and they were productive there, they're probably going to be good in the NFL.
I mean, it's almost like the like the most automatic bet out right now. You still got Cardinal Tate out there at Ohio State too, and I mean, he has to be good, right? At this point, like it seems like everyone who comes out of there is at least a good role player. And Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think, has impressed me the most out of all of them this season.
Yeah, they've all like pointed different fingers at who was the best, and like they've all said different players are the best, which I absolutely like love that from those guys. I thought Marv was going to be the best. I don't think he's going to be the best, but I do think he's a good player, and I think if he had like a consistent quarterback, we would see better stuff out of him. I think in terms of pure talent right now, I would go Smith and Jigba. Garrett Wilson's a close second, though, man.
I mean,
his catch radius. Yeah. Garrett Wilson's catch radius is the best of them all.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he's kind of has like the slimmest frame on like when you just look at him, like, man,
his hands are so pure. And Emeka Egbuka, I'm going to take a victory lap here. I did scouting shows over the offseason with Steve from Fantasy Trading Room. He was big. He went to the Combine. He went to the Senior Bowl. Like, he was checking these guys out. And I'm just sitting in my room watching film. And I said to him, man, I don't know who's going to draft Emeka Egbuka. And I get it. Tedderell McMillan has the size, and he's got speed as a prospect, and Travis Hunter's interesting. Egbuka's right up there with those guys for me. This is just a pure wide receiver, and whoever drafts him is getting a sensational player. And to me, the Egbuka to Tampa Bay, it was kind of like when the Lions drafted Gibbs after signing Montgomery. You were kind of like, that doesn't make sense, but the player's so talented. I want to see how it works out. And with Egbuka, it was like, they have Mike Evans and Godwin, though. Is like they're really going to be playing time for him. Is it going to work out? And through 5 weeks, the guy's fourth in the NFL in receiving yards in his rookie season. He's the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year right now. 445 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's just an absolute monster.
Yeah, I mean, I also said that he was the most complete receiver coming out of.
I remember that.
Draft. And honestly, I mean, he was basically gifted one of the best situations, but the quarterback and the injuries.
And some of it is like, some of those injuries did clear up opportunities for him for sure. But I don't know if it's crazy to say this. I think he's the best wide receiver on that team. Like, I think he's better than Mike Evans.
I mean,
at this point in their careers.
I mean, I really don't think that is crazy. Mike Evans is one of the most consistent wide receivers of all time, and he's probably not going to hit that 1,000-yard mark this year, and it's going to suck. But I mean, that's a great situation to have, just to even have those two receivers on your team and a quarterback like Baker that could get them the ball. Yeah. I mean, shit, they're going to be dangerous when they're all completely healthy. I can tell you that, because they're dangerous now.
Yeah, and another bonus point that I want to throw out there, just because I noticed it while looking at these stats, Christian McCaffrey right now is 6th in the NFL in receiving yards and 2nd in targets, only behind Puka Nacua, and he's also 2nd in receptions. So
targets is crazy.
If you want to know what's leading the 49ers offense, there you go. But, yeah, my point, Ohio State wide receivers. Ohio State might be wide receiver U. What's the second lesson you learned from week 5 of the NFL season?
So my second lesson is that the Patriots have a chance to win their division this year.
Take that victory lap. Take that victory lap. You earned that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it again because, I mean, of course, I also said that the Patriots have improved the most this offseason out of any other team. But, I mean, I think this is for the first time this season. They proved that the Buffalo Bills are actually kind of vulnerable. If you have a quarterback who can make plays outside the pocket and make accurate throws, man, their defense, when a quarterback has time to throw, their defense can be broken down pretty easily, man. And I get it. They did only give up 23 points But I mean, Drake May, I had no idea that his ability to be accurate outside the pocket on the move was that good. And this past Sunday night, he put the whole world on notice. This past week, he put the whole world on notice. And now, when they finally give Travion Henderson his shot at running back one, this team is gonna be electric. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but when he gets that RB1 spot, it's gonna get really spooky.
I'm gonna put a pin in your Patriots point right now. The fact that Travion Henderson isn't getting touches is insane to me. It's so insane to me because how many fumbles does Ramondre Stevenson have to have? Listen, Antonio Gibson, I wish him well. I can't believe they were playing him over Travion. You spent second-round draft capital on this guy, and you were watching his teammates, Emeka Egbuka, who we just talked about, but also Quinshon Judkins is the leading rookie rusher, and he missed a game, and he missed a lot of practice and training. Like, that's a guy who was comparable to him, and you're just not playing him. And listen, who am I to question Mike Vrabel? I guess that's like a fair thing to say, but I'm going to question him. Now,
it's crazy.
Back to your Patriots point, a couple stats that I want to bring up with the New England Patriots here. Drake May currently is 5th in the NFL in passing yards. He has a 7-2 touchdown to interception ratio, and he has a 107.8 passer rating this season through 5 games. Absolutely elite stuff. Stephon Diggs right now is 12th in the NFL in receiving yards after what I would consider basically a 2 to 3 week ramp-up period the first couple weeks of the season. He wasn't out there as much. His snap percentages were low. I actually want to get the exact number on snap percentages. This week, seeing him have that revenge game against Buffalo, I sent you the bet slip. I saw the pregame interview where he was talking, and this man was clearly on a mission, and I said, screw it. And I put it 100-plus receiving yards, and
he was locked in.
Money. Yeah. Week 1, 41% of snaps. Week 2, 52% of snaps. Week 3, 53%. Week 4, 63%. This week versus Buffalo, just 50%. So Diggs isn't even playing, wide receiver 1 snap percentages yet. He's not fully ramped up. He's 12th in receiving yards at this point in time. He has 29 receptions. He's producing. The Patriots' defense has been better since Christian Gonzalez got back.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's really important to note, they have the 4th best run defense in the NFL right now in terms of yards per game allowed. Milton Williams and Christian Barmore in the interior of that defensive line took away James Cook, and they made the Bills' offense one-dimensional, and then you really saw the Buffalo Bills having a superstar weapon like when they had Stephon Diggs.
I mean, they really need one now, man. Keon Coleman, I mean, I get it. It's year 2.
Some big catches in that game.
I get it. He's young, but damn, I don't think he's that guy. And credit to the Patriots because they had a top 5 or they played a top 5 running back and the reigning MVP and only allowed 20 points when, I mean, let's be real here. The Bills have been one of the best teams of football, if not at least top 3.
I mean, going into the game, they were considered by many the best team in football.
Yeah, at worst, they were 3, and they only allowed 20 points to them, man. That has to mean something. It seems like
and that's the MVP.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Ramondre Stevenson right now, he does have more fumbles than touchdowns. But when they get that run game situated, it's going to get crazy because Travion is one of the best blockers. He's one of the best blocking running backs in the whole league right now.
He does have a little bit of I think the reason he's not playing as much is because the NFL speed is catching him off guard a little bit. We saw it in that Dolphins game. He committed a couple holding penalties.
Yeah.
But when they get that right and can get him out there, because you already see it right now, he is clearly the most explosive back on the team. Even when Antonio Gibson was healthy, it just wasn't close. That's why he's on kick returns, because he's explosive. Once they can get him to be more dependable, to be out there week after week, which, they have a late bye, so I don't see, we'll see when it happens. But I want to ask you, as a Steelers fan, do you think the Patriots should have beaten you guys? Because they had 5 turnovers in that game. If I'm on the Patriots, I'm telling myself we should have won the last 4 games in a row.
They should have, but they did. I
know they didn't. They didn't. But in terms of in that building, in the way we're looking at that football team, I'm not saying counted as a win, but the loss was on execution, not on lack of talent.
Yeah, if I'm the Patriots, I'm thinking that. But as a Steelers fan, I have to say you can't fumble 5 times in a game and
Yeah,
expect to win. You
no,
know,
that's fair.
and if our offense wasn't as mid as it was, they would have got blown out by any other team with a top 15 offense by
Yeah.
at least double digits, by at least 10, 15 points, at least.
I do think at this point in time, the Patriots are destined to be a playoff team. When I look at their schedule here, this is their schedule the rest of the way: at New Orleans, at Tennessee, versus Cleveland, versus Atlanta, at Tampa Bay, versus the Jets, at the Bengals, versus the Giants, versus the Bills again, at Baltimore, at the Jets, versus the Dolphins. If you include Baltimore as a tough team, that's 3 tough games remaining on the schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's if you include Baltimore. I don't know where Baltimore is going to be at come December 21st, so we'll see.
yeah,
but
it's gonna be
the
wild.
Patriots should win double-digit games this year, and I do think that'll be enough to get you in the AFC playoffs. And they already have one divisional win over Buffalo. And Buffalo's got that first place schedule. They got Kansas City left on the schedule. I know that Buffalo has Philly left on the schedule at this point in time. They're at the Texans versus the Buccaneers. So, and then of course they play at New England, which is going to be a tough game. Like,
Yeah,
that division, maybe don't put it, in stone yet.
I'm telling you, bro, they have a lot of tough games left, and I'm not gonna say of course I still love Josh Allen, but I do think the league noticed some shit this past week about the Bills and how they can be exposed and how they can be exploited. I do think that, man, and they do have a lot of tough games
that
left.
run game and the coverage that we saw Detroit run against Lamar on Monday Night Football a couple of weeks ago. New England ran a version of that against Josh Allen, where they basically said, we trust our interior defensive linemen to stop the run, and there's going to be a spy at all times, whether it was Spillane or someone else. And we're going to make you stand back in the pocket and trust our coverage against your weapons, because like Lamar, Josh doesn't have an elite option that is guaranteed to get open. There's no Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson on that team. Dalton Kincaid was eating. Why? Because one of the Patriots linebackers was always on that spy trying to take care of Josh Allen. So Kincaid had 106 yards, but he was their guy that kept getting open. But the Patriots were willing to live with that. And Josh made a couple big mistakes that Josh doesn't normally make, because I think that Patriots defense had him very frustrated. That interception he threw was a frustration interception.
They don't have a wide receiver one, bro. The wide receiver one is their tight end right now. Keon Coleman had 100 yards in the first game, and since then has been on clamps. He's been locked down. And it seems if you can take away Keon Coleman and the run game, it's kind of
and the Patriots with Christian Gonzalez. I mean, the best corners in football.
Yeah, that plays a big role as well. So I don't know, man. Keep an eye out on the Patriots for sure.
For sure. The second lesson that I learned, reaffirming another victory lap, back-to-back lessons of victory laps. Your NFL MVP through 5 weeks is Baker motherfucking Mayfield. Who called that shit? and he's doing this. He's doing this with limited weapons. We talked about this earlier when we were talking about Egbuka. First off, Chris Godwin's just getting back. We just watched Stephon Diggs come back from a torn ACL. It's taken him a month to ramp up. Chris Godwin's only got 2 weeks right now. Mike Evans, not playing right now. Emeka Egbuka, a rookie. We still haven't seen Jalen McMillan back out there. Bucky Irving missed this week. Baker Mayfield has a banged-up offensive line. And this dude walked into Seattle, who, yes, Devin Witherspoon was out, and there were some injuries to that secondary, but that's still a great defense, and Mike McDonald coaches the hell out of that team.
Yeah.
And he went in there, in their house, and put 38 up on them and won that football game. Baker Mayfield has 4 fourth-quarter comebacks already this season.
Yeah.
The guy is 4th in the 4-1.
Oh, 4. Oh, wait, really? They lost a. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. How could I forget about that game? They should have won that game too. But
well, let's not go that far.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is 4th in the NFL right now in passing yards. He has a 10-1 touchdown to interception ratio. What did I tell you guys at the beginning of the season? Baker Mayfield cuts down on the interceptions. That's going to be MVP caliber stats. They're 4-1. Baker has 104.4 passer rating. They're only getting healthier on the offensive side of the ball. They very much are in play to be the 1 seed in the NFC. They're certainly going to win their division, in my estimation. Maybe it's crazy to say, maybe it's not, but that's just how I feel at this point. I don't trust Atlanta as far as I could throw them.
Who does?
Well, I'm telling you, there are people out there that are big Atlanta people. And like I did with New England, we'll rock through the Buccaneers schedule. They got the Niners this week, big game. At Detroit the week after, big game. At Bills, at Rams, and that's kind of it, man. All their games are at Saints, the Patriots, like we mentioned, versus the Cardinals, versus the Saints, versus listen to this end of season. Starting on November 30th, versus Cardinals, versus Saints, versus Falcons, at Panthers, versus Dolphins, versus Panthers. That is barbecue chicken the last 6 weeks of the season. I'll tell you what, if Baker Mayfield can get through this next month and a half and still be on the verge of first place in the NFC, there is not a much easier schedule than the one I just listed off.
And what, Bucky Irving is on IR right now, if I'm not mistaken?
No, I don't think he's on IR.
He's not? Okay. Well,
No.
I know Rachaad White is taking over that backfield. And Bucky Irving is, I think they said 2 weeks, actually. So
yeah,
he's probably going to miss another week or two. But, dude, your take is looking amazing right now. And they're not even.
And I just want to remind everybody, I'm going to pull up the FanDuel right now to just confirm the odds that I gave it out at. Because right now it's 11-1. I'm pretty sure. I'll pull it up right now. It's a podcast, so I'm sure people don't mind me taking a second to get the exact numbers here. It's people are putting money on it. Sharp money's coming in on Baker. It was 11-1 this morning. It's now plus 950. The sharp money's coming in on Baker. When I gave it to you guys, Baker Mayfield win MVP, 25-1. It's now plus 950.
Damn.
So, and we mapped it out. We talked about why. Why would this happen? Hey, Lamar and Josh, is their voter fatigue? Do we trust the Chiefs offense? Would Jalen Hurts ever pass enough to win an MVP? Jared Goff? And we just started pinpointing where the value was, and it was Baker Mayfield. And Baker's also just a fucking dog, so it's easy to root for the guy. And that game this weekend, man, 2 Carolina Panthers quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, who were basically cut from the team, squaring off. And then the Panthers are still poverty. But
yeah, it's crazy over there.
Yeah, so Baker Mayfield is the NFL MVP through 5 weeks. Lesson learned. Why don't you tell us about your third lesson from week 5 of the NFL season?
So for my last lesson, I kind of want to talk about the Ravens a little bit again. I know I've been talking about the Ravens a lot, but I'm just so shocked right now. It doesn't make sense. Like,
they are getting belt to ass week after week.
I want you guys just to look at the roster on paper before the season started and just imagine how crazy somebody would seem if someone said that the Ravens wouldn't make the playoffs. Just imagine how crazy that sounds.
We had them as a consensus top 5 offense and defense when we did our rankings. Both of us had it. And it wasn't just us. Like, everybody had them there. It's a season from hell. The thing is, with Baltimore, the injuries are going to be used as a crutch. This team was cheeks healthy.
Horrible.
Like, they were playing terrible healthy.
Man, it's crazy. The only team they beat this year is the Cleveland Browns, big dog. I get it. Their schedule has been brutal. Their schedule has been hard. Don't get that twisted.
How do you feel about the fact that they're still favored to win the division over Pittsburgh?
It's incredible. Lamar is still out a couple more weeks at least.
He's out, I think, this upcoming week versus the Bears, and then they have a bye week. So, or not the Bears versus the Rams.
He's
not going to play this Rams game, I don't think, because they have a bye the following week. Why would you push it? They're going to be 1-5,
bro. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I I'm watching the games. You have Derrick Henry. Why isn't he getting the ball? Why do you have
Well,
Cooper Rush throwing
I
all these
I think
like
we got to be honest real quick about Derrick Henry, because aside from week 1, that man has not been good.
okay,
And
he's not even getting the carries though.
so, uh,
Can we
where
give him 15 carries at least?
where can I see game by game for Henry?
Like it's honestly
Okay, here we go.
insane,
Here we
bro.
go. So week 1, Derrick Henry had 18 carries, 169 yards, averaged 9.4 a carry, 2 touchdowns against Buffalo. Buffalo's run defense might be a problem. Week 2 versus Cleveland, they win 41-17. He had 11 carries for 23 yards, 2.1 a carry. The run defense for Cleveland was good, but uh, blowout win for the Ravens. Now, week 3 versus Detroit, 38-30 loss. 12 carries for 50 yards, averaged 4.2, 1 touchdown, but he had a fumble in that game as well, if you remember. Versus Kansas City, 8 for 42, 5.3 yards per carry. But Lamar left the game early. Justice Hill was kind of in a ton on that game, but like he was doing good. And then this past week versus Houston, 15 for 33, 2.2 a carry, a long run of 7 in that game. But Houston's a top 5 defense in football, and Cooper Rush not much of a threat. So I'm not saying Derrick Henry is washed, but unwashed alert.
I mean, I don't want to say like 15 carries is like a magic number, but I don't think he's getting the ball enough. And I get you, less than 3 yards a carry
I
is
mean, I don't
insane.
think Derrick Henry is the pinpoint problem with this team. Their
I
defense couldn't guard anybody,
yeah, but they're
healthy or
always
not.
on the field though. Like for real, for real. And let's be honest, Zay Flowers is good, bro. That is not a wide receiver one on a. The fact that the Ravens have been this good with Zay Flowers on their team the last couple of years is kind of insane. Zay Flowers is really good. He's not a
Well,
he's
the
not a wide
problem is
receiver
they're
one.
paying all those guys on the defense, and they're bad. Like
That and they were so good. They were pretty good last year too. And
they are giving up 409 yards per game. They're giving up, what is it? We're looking at 262 passing yards a game, 146 rushing yards a game.
that, you know what's even crazier about that?
They're
And
giving
this
up
goes
35 points a game, the worst in the NFL.
and that's what only giving up 17 to the Browns, and they're still giving up that much a game.
Yeah.
And one of those games they only allow 17 points. But
And again, to your point, Bills, Chiefs, Texans, who like were supposed to be a good team, maybe not a good team, I don't know, and the Lions. 3 of those teams are at least like alive for the Super Bowl.
yeah, and one thing that a lot of people aren't really talking about this year is, and this kind of goes a little bit back to your Baker Mayfield point and why it's so impressive that he's like projected to win MVP, or people are betting on him a little bit now, is the fact that yards, like you're not seeing 300 yards a game quarterbacks. You're not seeing quarterbacks over 300 yards, 400 yards. And part of that is the new kickoff rule, you know? And with this new kickoff rule, you get the ball at the 35 and or 40, 45. You get the ball in the craziest spots, bro. So you're not seeing all these quarterbacks throw for over 300 yards, 400 yards no more. You're just not going to see it. So the fact that a Ravens defense with this much talent, with Kyle Hamilton or Roquan Smith, Nate Wiggins,
And I know that
Jair
they
Alexander,
missed this week. By the time a lot of those guys got hurt in the Chiefs game, it was already over. And the 3 weeks before that, they all played.
they were cheeks, man. That's not an excuse, bro. I don't care what nobody says. That's not an excuse, bro. But the fact that they're allowing so many yards with so much talent, I don't think people are talking about this kickoff rule enough, man, and how much that it can really
Do you
affect
think
quarterbacks.
Zach Orr's the problem, their defensive coordinator?
Yes, because the talent is there. It has to.
2 years ago with Mike McDonald, it was one of the best defenses in football, and they didn't even have all this talent.
They're gonna blame Harbaugh. Jeez, I hope they don't, man. I mean, I get it. Like he should win. He has Lamar Jackson in his prime. You have to get it done one of these years, but
you have to at least make a Super Bowl.
I mean,
I do think that it's possible that, like, with this year being the year from hell with injuries, that Harbaugh survives and they don't fire him, because it's like Imagine if they just have kind of a repeat of what the Niners were last year, where they just never get healthy. Lamar re-injures the hamstring or something, and he only plays 5 games this year, and they end up being like a 4 or 5 win team. But a lot of injuries pile up throughout the entirety of the
Yeah.
year. I don't think you could fire a head coach on that. You could make a change to defensive coordinator, but I don't
You
know
ha-
if you could fire a guy like Harbaugh who's been there for so long off of a season like that.
yeah, I feel like you have to make a change at defensive coordinator, but I mean, you have Lamar Jackson, and usually when a team has a lot of injuries, the quarterback is the person that can make them tread water, like Jared Goff did. I'm not saying Jared Goff is amazing, but the Lions were riddled with injuries on the defensive side of the ball all year last year, starting from the first freaking game.
Yeah.
So, and he knew that he knows the offense, and they had a really good offensive coordinator, and he can lead them to however many wins they did. When the Chiefs, they already didn't have that many good weapons as is a year and 2 years ago. They've been banged up at the wide receiver position for like the last 3 seasons. They still don't have their whole wide receiver group back now, but you have Patrick Mahomes, and that's why they always make the Super Bowl. These teams that are always freaking riddled with injuries, the quarterback is usually the player who allows them to tread water. But now you're starting Cooper Rush. That's just not going to happen when you're starting Cooper Rush. Let's keep it a buck. So I don't know, man. The Bengals just made a freaking trade for Joe Flacco, and I don't think you can just keep rolling out of here with Cooper Rush. I'm gonna be honest. There's so many backup.
I mean, I don't think that they need to make. They might start Snoop Huntley this week. I saw.
I mean, why did they why was he not on the active roster to start the year? I don't know.
The thing is, I don't think that they're like making a move for a QB because I think Lamar will be back after the bye, and the Ravens will be 1-5. Let's just assume that they're losing to the Rams without Lamar. I think that that's kind of a foregone conclusion. Post bye at 1-5, so they can only afford to lose realistically 2 of these games if they're still going to make the playoffs. Versus the Bears, at the Dolphins, at the Vikings, at the Browns, versus the Jets, versus the Bengals, versus the Steelers, at the Bengals, versus the Patriots, at the Packers, at the Steelers.
Yeah.
And with their defense, Joe Burrow could be back for that December game. The Patriots, we know, are cooking. The Packers are cooking. 2 versus Pittsburgh. The Bears, what are they going to be coming out to buy? That's 5 games that I think are losable, and they could only lose 2 of them.
And the Ravens every year, and not to mention, just because it looks like a win on the schedule does not mean you're going to win that game.
Right.
Teams all the time, great teams, they lose games that they're not supposed to, and people always, talk about that. And the Steelers every year, it's like it's up and down. So they're gonna drop a couple of games. Is it possible the Ravens get in with 6 losses and win that division? It's possible.
Yeah,
because the Steelers, I mean,
well, especially if they get the wins over Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean that's big. But then again, Lamar every single year, like he's never swept this. That's never happened before.
And and right now Pittsburgh is improving week after week. I would say I feel like they're getting better from where they were. They certainly look better in week 4 than they did in week 1, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and I promise this is my last week talking about the Ravens for a minute. I'm just really in shock right now because I'm a big Lamar fan, and it's insane right now. I mean, they have the hardest schedule. This has to be the hardest schedule to start the season.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Phillies is pretty difficult. Dallas, Chiefs, Rams, Buccaneers, Broncos. I mean, like there's not a Browns game in there.
Yeah, I guess. I guess that makes sense. But damn, shit, this is crazy, man.
So that brings me to my final lesson. Through 5 weeks, I've learned that the NFC is the far superior conference to the AFC. The NFC is built on rosters and GMs, and the AFC is built on quarterbacks. And maybe in the modern day NFL, we're learning that the importance of the roster is just right there. Listen to these teams in the NFC that I think could very much be playoff teams. You push back on me if you think that I'm lying about any of these teams. Philly, Washington, Dallas. Out of the NFC East, I think they could all be playoff teams, especially the way Dak's playing right now. You get CD back out there. It's a top 10 offensive football.
For sure.
Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago. I think could all be playoff teams.
I don't know.
Chicago's tough, but
sure.
I thought that the 2-game win streak going into the bye, I think that they could be.
Yeah, I mean that's it's possible, you know.
So that's 6. Tampa Bay,
Yeah,
San Francisco, Seattle, the Rams.
100%.
That's 11.
Maybe
That's, a,
see. I mean, I don't know about Seattle, but it's
that's 11.
possible.
That's 11 of the 16 teams I think could be playoff teams. Going over to the AFC, Buffalo, New England,
Okay,
Pittsburgh, Colts,
possible.
Jags, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs. That's 8. And
I don't think the
and
Colts will be a playoff team, but
I mean they're 4.
I mean, yeah, as
As
record wise right now. But if you
I,
put them in any division in the NFC, nah,
I don't know. I
nah.
see the way that you feel about the Colts is kind of how I feel about the Jags. I'm not really sold
Yeah.
on them.
Ooh, I think the coach. I think they found a coach, man.
I think that they might have found their coach. I just don't know if they have their quarterback. This guy's like 1 to 2 turnovers a game.
Dude, and the thing is, like, everyone's gassing up Trevor Lawrence. Like, dude, it's a miracle they even won
I
that
mean,
game.
listen,
And this off topic,
maybe
but man,
that's like the win that propels them to being what people thought they could be. Because Trevor Lawrence did a sweet throw to Brian Thomas on that game-winning touchdown drive. But then,
yeah,
of course, like everybody's just talking about the stumble at the end there. The NFC as well. I think that was the list of playoff teams. Let's talk about teams that can win the Super Bowl, can win it out of the AFC. Buffalo, Kansas City, just putting respect on the Chiefs. Could you see any other AFC team winning the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, it was the Ravens, but
other like you
no
we
other
just
team is
talked about the
complete.
Colts and Jags. The Chargers right now with all their injuries, it feels too much. I don't think the way Bo Nix has played that he's elevated to that level, and New England feels like they're just not quite there. Same with Pittsburgh.
The third best shot would be the Chargers, in my opinion, if they were fully healthy. That would be my third pick right now.
So there's 2 teams that I think could win the Super Bowl in the AFC. In the NFC, Philly just won it. Washington, the way that Dan Campbell has that defense playing, if Terry McLaurin gets healthy, I don't even think we've seen them at their best yet.
No, we haven't.
Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, the Rams, and maybe the Niners.
Green Bay has looked vulnerable, man. I don't know.
But could Green Bay win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's possible.
So that's triple the amount of Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this before the start of the season, man. I mean, even people were only saying 3 teams.
I thought the NFC was a little bit better. Right now, the NFC looks way better.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most complete. They have the most complete teams.
And don't get me wrong, some of it is whether injury or not. Some of these AFC teams have let us down. Cincinnati and Baltimore were supposed to be decent teams. The Texans were supposed to be a good team. Even the Chiefs, to an extent, have let us down. They're 2-3. The Raiders were supposed to be a competitive playoff team, and Geno Smith stinks. Like,
I mean, there's no the Jaguars are winning games because of their defense. Some of the teams that have good defenses aren't even good football teams. Like the Cleveland Browns, if they had a solid quarterback, they would be penciled in for the playoffs. Yeah. But there's just no complete teams like that. The freaking Philadelphia Eagles have Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, and they have the best defense in football. Like, you look at the Lions, you look at the best teams in the NFC, and it shouldn't even be. It's not even comparable when you compare the offensive talent and the defensive talent on both rosters. Like, it's not even comparable, man. So that just facts.
Yeah, and again, I think some of it speaks to how quarterback-centric the AFC has been with Josh, Lamar, Joe, Pat, Herbert, whereas the NFC, you say, like, people are like, oh, how many quarterbacks do they have? You talk about Jalen, Jaden, you throw Baker and Goff into there, but they all are kind of out of that superstar tier. I have Jalen up there because of what we've seen him do in the postseason, but Stafford obviously is a guy that gets credit, but they are just such a roster building conference, man, that I think that the NFC is playing some far superior football right now. So those are our week 5 lessons. Again, podcast name Double Coverage. It's sticking to that. So hope you guys like it. Let us know any lessons that you guys learned from week 5 that we didn't talk about. Share your comments about what we did talk about in the comment section down below. If you're not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you do love the NFL, I highly suggest you subscribe. This podcast drops every Wednesday, but I got tier list videos, predictions, reactions, etc., all up on the channel. If you like these kind of videos, always helps to leave a like. Let us know that you're taking it. Check out JaVon's socials linked in the description, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday for another episode of the Double Coverage Podcast.
Yes, sir.